what's key to making money online for me, and it always was this, that I learned quite quickly, was you could have a product in one country that's a total bomb. This is so obvious, but I tell you, you can make an absolute fortune just doing this. In one country, in another country, it's a massive success. Now, the UK and USA used to mirror themselves quite well, as in, a product hit US first, it'd do well. 6 months later, it's in the UK, or even quicker than that, or however long it was, and then it'd do well in the UK. But what I used to love doing in the UK, and anyone can do this right now, and even at the end of the company, there wasn't that many people doing it. I know there must be more now, but this is just one little tiny thing. A product that's done really well in USA, could be a toy, could be a Disney film that bombed in the UK but did amazing over there. When the stock comes to the UK and no one buys it, it goes to liquidation, goes to clearance, you can pick it up so cheap. Obviously you need to know the places to buy it from, and I can tell you them as well if you want, just ask me for them. And then you sell them in US at a premium price. My God, you can make $20, $30 profit on every one you sell. I did it with loads of stuff. I think I've covered before. I sold thousands of Doctor Who sonic screwdrivers in America. Just off the top of my head, but there's so many products I did it with. I remember buying, I think it was about 20,000 Nintendo Wii lens kits from Nintendo. I believe I put the last ever order in for it before they stopped making it. And I bought them for about £2 each from Nintendo Direct in Germany. Even I had to do it through Koch Media, but it was funneled through them, obviously. And I sold them all for about $20 or $25 each in America. Now you can see the markup, £2 to 20. There's just so many things you can do like this now. For me, the absolute key to making money online, and this is just one tiny thing, UK to US. There's loads of countries out there. Loads of countries. All you have to do is move a product from one area of the world that's been a failure to an area of the world that is a success, and that's it. There's loads of universal products as well. The universal language is English anyway. I know not everyone speaks English, but so many people do. That is absolute key for me, and it always was. It was never about going into the UK and competing with UK shops online. Well, why would you do that? Because then all you get into is a price war. Who can be the cheapest? And whoever's cheapest gets the money, because the internet's transparent. That is not how you make money online for me. It was always about picking up the product and getting it out of the country, not focusing on the UK. Now, if I lived in the United States, I wouldn't be focusing on the United States. I'd be focusing on everywhere else in the world. I'm going to finish this off with two things. The first thing is, as a retailer, move products from one country to another. Supply and demand. It's so basic, but it just works. The other really big one, when you've got a bit more money behind you, is to buy up liquidated clearance stuff. So rather than go to clearance houses and buy 100 units of this, 200 units of that, I used to remember going into these clearance houses, and I remember walking in one in London, and they were like, "Oh, we just had Smith's Toys in here, Stephen. They just spent 300 grand. How much are you spending?" I was like, "Oh, good." And you walk around this little room looking at these products, and you pick a few off the shelf, and the absolute minimum you can buy is, realistically 100 units or something up and upwards. Oh God, I just remembered something I missed out on. He had 11,000 Pokemon gloves, this guy. And I was divering. I was going, I know I'm jumping into this now, but I spoke to my wife about it at the time. I was like, I really want to buy these Pokemon gloves, but it's going to be quite expensive order, even though I was buying them for like, a couple of quid each or whatever it would have been. I knew I could sell them in the United States for $14.99, no problem, $15. And guess what happened? Pokemon bloody Go, that's what happened. Was it called Pokemon Go? Whatever that massive craze was on the app. And I phoned up the clearance house. I said, yeah, I'll take them. Because he knew I was interested in all of them, all 11,000. He said, oh, I'm really sorry, Stephen, we sold them last night. I was like, absolutely devastated, because I've just lost, in my head, even though I never bought them in the first place. So technically I never lost it, but it was a dead cert. And I can't believe it wasn't like me, but just I hesitate on a deal like that. Anyway, I'm going to go back to where I was before, but yeah, you walk around these clearance houses, and the one thing that strikes me, and I will end on this now. One thing that I'll never forget, by going into, because I used to meet up with these clearance houses wherever they were in the world. So if you go into Germany, there'll be a big toy show at some massive exhibition halls, but the real toy show is in the hotels nearby, where they're selling the clearance stuff in the hotels. And that is where all the fun's happening. But they're not going to tell you that, are they? Same thing happens in the UK as well. If you go to the NEC and you go to Spring Fairs, but the real action is the hotel over the road, because you go over there and you get all the products for like a third of the price. So I remember going to the show, one of the last NEC Spring Fair shows I went to. I only went there straight to the clearance area because I knew the clearance guys. And I sat down in this little restaurant, and one of the guys I traded with said, blah de blah over there, he's just withdrew 5 million out, paid himself 5 million. Now if you're going to pay yourself 5 million, you know you're going to get taxed a lot straight away. You must be doing well if you're willing to let all that tax go down the pan and not reinvest it in your business. Now that's how much you can make when you are the person selling the clearance stock. And that was where you'd want to get to. You'd want to get away from retail if you can, if you want the big money, and be in areas of the world waiting for the liquidation, waiting for companies to collapse, and having the contacts to buy the stock up to pass on to the retailers or sell on to the retailers, because it's actually those people that are actually making a fortune. Yes, you can make a lot of money on retail. Yes, it's more exciting for me being a retailer because you have a brand and you can do, you know, press releases and do amazing sales and capture the public's imagination. But if you're a wholesaler, I mean, who knows the wholesalers, these clearance houses? Nobody, unless you're in the industry. Nobody knows who they are. And that for me isn't very exciting. It might be perfect for some people. If you're purely in it to make money, that is a good avenue to go down. And I know what you're going to think, well, how do you even get into that? How can you even get into that when you need loads of money in the first place? Yeah, you would need a bit of money, but you've got to start small. You get into it and your first transaction is small. You know, you don't have to jump into it with loads of money. Anyway, I am going on, but I just wanted to share that with you. I know I've gone off tangent a little bit, but behind every point I try and make, there's often a story in my head, and I reminisce, and I remember some significant things. But ultimately, making money online, just shift it from one area of the country or one area of the map on the world to another area, and that's it. And we all know how easy it is to see what a product is selling well at on Amazon. You just look at the rank. It's obvious. It's easy to do. So I hope someone watching this does it. And good luck to you.